This video is for those top producing loan officers out there that are secretly feeling anxious inside when they're visiting with customers rather than enjoying that part of their job, which is how they started in the business for the most part. They love people, they love real estate agents, they like to, I kid about it, but shake hands and kiss babies. They go to the barbecues and they visit with others. And when it starts hitting you, that you have more business than you can handle, that you really don't have a good system in place, that you've lost track of everything and you've got fires to put out all the time, all of a sudden those types of invitations aren't fun anymore. And so that's what this video is for today. I posted last week that I know all kinds of loan officers. I've worked with all kinds of top producers, middle producers, just some really meticulous loan officers that maybe didn't have huge amounts of volume, but enough that they wanted to do a good job and they were having a real struggle with how can I make this happen with each customer? The harder customer, the customer that needs extra help. Why is it going so badly on this deal when it went so smoothly on the other? And it could be for all kinds of different reasons. So I just want to tell you that I feel your pain. I've been there. I was a 100% commissioned loan officer working for a company that I adored, Norwest Mortgage, and they had really great systems in place. And they ended up eventually merging with Wells Fargo or buying whichever story you want to believe. But they had checklists on everything, and everything was you knew whose job was what. And every once in a while, you might have an issue with a processor or an underwriter, but there was just a clean process. And I never really worried very much. I did have days when I was busy. When you're a 100% commission loan officer and you've got 5 new apps to take in one day in person, and then copy the package and get it off Federal Express to get it to the underwriting center before 3 o'clock on a rough day and the copier's not working, it can be a nightmare. But in general, I felt really good. I had systems in place. Then I got recruited away from that job into a job where I was told we had really great processing, underwriting, whatever. I knew that wasn't quite true because it was a small bank that I just knew they were having troubles. Then I got there and it took over my life because I wanted to give that same customer experience I was used to giving. But I wasn't the one that created those systems. I just knew they were there and I knew that I would be taken care of. And I knew there was a place to go immediately if I wasn't being taken care of, and my manager would rectify it for me instantly. So I went from that to it's just like a free for all. I had no idea what was going to happen. And luckily, with my background in operations, I would just take over. I'd be like, okay, my processor doesn't understand. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know how to analyze income. I'm just going to do it. My underwriter would only approve the cleanest of deals without conditions. Otherwise, it was like 30 extra conditions, no matter what. And I ended up getting full lending authority. So I was like, fine, I'll do the write up. I'll take the brunt of it if something goes wrong. So I had a way of dealing with that that a lot of loan officers don't. Most loan officers don't ever get lending authority, which is a great thing. And I really didn't like being put in that position, but I did what I had to do. Long story short, I started going grocery shopping an hour away from where I worked. I did not want to see anybody I knew. And every time I went anywhere, there was somebody who wanted to talk about getting a loan, or they were going to ask me about their loan in process, or they were going to tell me about their friend who needed to consolidate debt, whatever. Really a loan officer's dream come true, but it was a nightmare because I had no backup. I had not really thought out how am I going to handle business if it keeps improving. And because I was 100% commissioned at the beginning, and then I had underwriting authority and all these other things going on, my hours just kept getting longer and longer and longer without any support. So, for you guys as loan officers that don't have lending authority, don't have a lot of other duties, but you're feeling like you're putting out fires every day, it's the same sort of thing. You can't let go of your deal because you're not trusting that it's going to be taken care of the same way it was on the other deal. And you're not trusting in the people you have or the systems you have. And you haven't really even thought about what system do I want for every single customer? How do I want this to go from lead all the way to closing? And then in post closing and keeping up with your customer. A lot of loan officers don't really think that out. They're just like, I want the business, I want the business. They get the business, and then they don't have a way to really handle it or delegate it well. So that's why in the beginning, it's so important to find somebody that can help you figure it out. If you can't figure it out yourself, get somebody that's a professional that can walk you through systems that have worked. In Ashley Corville's case at the Complete Mortgage Team, 8 years of working on a go high level CRM and setting up a system for each customer that's exactly the same. Everybody knows exactly who's doing what. And the goal is the loan officer starts and then is out getting more business, enjoying their business. My worst problem at one point, and this is when I knew I had a problem, I went to a realtor barbecue. It was an annual barbecue and it was always a lot of fun. And I used to really enjoy it. So I go to the barbecue and I had three different people pull me aside and say, "Are you getting any sleep? You look miserable." One person said, "You look like you want to be anywhere but here. Why did you even come?" Now, he always was very direct with me, more than most of the real estate agents. And I loved that about him. But when he said that, "You look like you want to be anywhere but here," I died. I cringed. I was just like, oh my gosh. I wanted this guy's business for years. It took me like 2 years, I think, before he actually sent me a deal. And he's telling me this. So all I'm telling you is I get you. And there are ways to fix things. There are systems that we have that we can help you with going through a boot camp and figuring out how to make your customer experience good, really good, and consistent, because consistency really matters. And you don't want real estate agents or customers to feel like they're a burden to you. You don't want them to say, "I'm sorry I had to talk to you. I know you're so busy." That's terrible. So we want to stop that. I want you to consider giving me a call. I'm also going to put my link in the calendar link, which is something new I learned. I didn't trust that for a long time, but now that I've got a good CRM that I trust, I'm going to put in a calendar link. I put in times for just up to 15 minutes. If you want more, you can just double book. But I just want you to have a chance to talk to me if you're struggling with that, because between the boot camp and then there's another option, and I can go into that more in talking to you. But I know some loan officers that they've got other side businesses. They have rental properties, maybe they want to retire a bit. A lot of them worked so hard in 2020 and 2021. They never want to go back to that. Nobody wants to work those hours. You can't pay me enough money to work like I did in 2020 and 2021. They were like, we're going to buy back your vacation. We're going to give you a retention bonus. We're going to give you a bonus per loan, overtime. Nothing was enough for all the hours we spent working because we did not plan well. Not that anybody else did either. Nobody expected what would happen in 2020. But everybody has experienced burnout. And some loan officers are still trying to recover from the hours they had to spend working in the early 20s. So some of those people might be in a place where I really want the business. I want to stay in contact with the referral partners I have that I enjoy. We golf, we hang out, whatever. And I want to just give a name and number and trust a team to handle it and get paid. So instead of just being like, "I'm really not that into it, Joe. I think you're great. I'm going to hand you over to a loan officer that I know and trust to take care of you. Thanks for thinking of me." Most loan officers that have been in the business for any deal of time, they're not going to want to do that. That would be terrible. They'll do it though. I do know retired loan officers that just started referring out their book of business because they're done. They're just not doing loans anymore. So if you want to be somewhere in between or just in the beginning, provide a name and number, trust a team to take over, still get paid, be able to look in a CRM whenever you want. If you want to check on your customer or your realtor, you'll see what conversations happen, what textings happen, where the status of the loan is. It's all right there in the CRM, and you're going to get little notifications as the loan's moving along. How easy does that sound? I mean, how good would that be? But you would have to trust the team, and you would have to know that team has been around a long time, knows what they're doing, and that's just another option you have with the complete mortgage team and powered by Summit Lending. Between those two, sky's the limit, really, for what you want to do. It doesn't have to be the way it's been in the past. You can have control over your business, over your life. You can get some hours back, and you can be that person that enjoys the barbecue with your real estate agents and builders, and you're not twitching with anxiety in the corner like I was doing, I suppose. I was just like, and I would get invited to everything. And at first, I would go to everything, and it was great. And the customer would want to like celebrate their home blessing party. And so I was going to these consistent customer parties, realtor parties, which every loan officer would dream of and love. And I've had plenty of them say to me, I don't know how you did all that. And I'm like, I don't either. Because by the end of it, everyone just thought I was just like in a bad mood all the time. I could not shake it. So I get you. I hear you. I'm here for you. And again, look at the link, the calendar link, or reach out and connect. So I hope that gives you some hope. There are ways to do better and to be more relaxed and enjoy your family without twitching in a corner. Okay.